Welcome to Alliance Academy. I am Marian Parker. I'm the Executive Director of the Texas Food Wine Alliance. Today I'm in the beautiful home of Chef Rico Torres, the owner and chef of Mixtli and Kumo here in San Antonio. He's going to be showing us how to make a delicious ribeye taco with salsa matcha and a refreshing cocktail, Oja Santa with Rey Campero Mezcal. Let's see what he's got cooking. So chef, show us what we're going to be making today.
So we're going to make some ribeye tacos. We're going to do a salsa matcha. We're going to do a smashed avocado to go with that, caramelized onions, and then we have some beautiful heirloom corn tortillas to finish it.
I'm so excited. And then what are we going to make to drink?
We have a beautiful Rey Campero cocktail.
Okay, awesome.
And then I brought my little Rey Campero. So this is for the shoot, and then this is for us later.
That sounds great, chef. All right, well then, what do we start with first?
Let's start off with the onions and the chiles at the same time. So we're gonna clean the chiles, but first we're gonna get the onions cooking, and we're gonna get the garlic just sauteing off in the olive oil.
Okay.
So let's head over to the stove, and then we'll come back and work on these while those are going.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. So let's get started with the salsa matcha and the caramelized onions. Onions first because they're gonna take a little while. We're just gonna. I already have these pans on low heat. Get your butter in there. Get your onions in there.
How long do you cook the onions for?
These onions are gonna go in for about 20 minutes.
Okay.
But keep an eye on them, stirring them occasionally, let them just cook down. So the cool thing with white onions is like they're really strong, but when you cook them down, they're the sweetest ones on the block.
Right, yeah.
You might see that I have some garlic going over here. I'm just roasting off this garlic for our avocado, but we'll talk about that later. That's also on low, just kind of cooking away, getting a little sweet. And now for our salsa matcha. The salsa matcha, it's a fried chili salsa, lots of garlic, lots of nuts. Usually it's done with peanuts, but we're gonna do some Texas pecans because that's where we're at right now. So low heat on this heavy bottom pan, little olive oil, and of course this is right out of Boston. Our friends at Conolio sent this over, so thank you very much for that. Super excited to work with them. And this garlic that's already been peeled, just get that in there. Turn up the heat a little bit. And we're gonna just let these kind of roast in this pan just a little bit. Don't want to blacken them. You want that nice golden brown. And when they're ready, we're gonna take them out, keep the oil in there, and we'll move the chiles in there for the next step of frying.
Oh, so the garlic doesn't stay in the salsa long term. It's just to flavor the oil.
Right, because if you cook it too long, it's gonna get bitter.
Okay, that makes sense.
So right now you want to flavor the oil, and you want the garlic to cook down and get a little bit sweeter, get that nice brown on the outside. And then it's gonna go back into the salsa later when we blitz everything together.
Okay. Well, it just smells so beautiful. Yeah.
It's a little high, so you can tell. So use your ears, use your nose. If it's smelling too strong, if it's smelling kind of burnt, I mean, pay attention to what's happening in the kitchen. So here, it's a little strong. You can hear it's kind of loud.
Yeah.
I turned it down a little bit because I don't want them to cook too fast. I want them to cook slow.
Okay.
In the meantime, while this is going, we can go ahead and start cleaning the chiles and talk about those.
Yep. Awesome, yeah.
Okay. So Miriam, let's work on these chiles right here.
Okay, great. So what kind of chilies do you have here?
Okay. One of my favorites, the chile mije pasilla.
Okay.
This starts off with chile chilalca, which is a long green, dark green chile. Then when it's dried, it's the chile pasilla. Okay. But then when it's smoked, it's the chile mije.
Okay.
And it's so awesome. It's just like super
wow,
smoky.
It's beautiful, like smoky.
It works on so many things. I mean, usually when I get one of these, what I do immediately is throw half of the bag, because I'll get like 2 or 3 pounds at a time, but I'll throw, a good amount into the blender, into the dry blender, and make a powder. And
cool.
And then I keep it, I don't even have black pepper in my station. I just always have
this pepper.
Yeah,
cool.
chili powder for everything. For the beans, for the veggies, whatever. Chile árbol, of course, earthy, very, very spicy. We're not even gonna take the seeds out of this one. Great. Chile guajillo, which is of course one of the most popular chiles in Mexico, used for all kinds of stuff. This one is a little bit more mild, a little bit more fruity. Okay. And I just kind of like the combination of all of it together.
So out of all the salsas, why did you choose to make salsa matcha for your tacos today?
Oh man, well salsa matcha is just one of my favorites. One, it has this, it just lasts a really long time because it's oil based. Yeah. It has a better mouth texture to it because you almost get like a crunchiness sometimes out of it. Okay. It works on just about all kinds of stuff. I've put it on ice cream even.
Oh, wow, okay.
But your eggs, I've cut open an avocado and just put salsa matcha in there. I went to town. You can leave it out, you can put it in the refrigerator. So, you know, this, like I said, this comes from Veracruz. And Veracruz is one of the first Spanish states established in Mexico.
Okay.
And because of that, it's also one of the third most important ports of entry in the world around the time that the Spanish are conquering Mexico. So what happens is that you're seeing that all the new people that are coming to Mexico are bringing with them their style of life, their ingredients, their memories of their favorite dishes. And so, of course, the Spanish bring with them olive oil. And that's the first instance that you start seeing these things happening in Mexico.
Oh,
This is a result of one of those things, you know, one of those experiences.
Well, I guess you're going to make a big batch of it. Might as well make a big batch of it because obviously it has really good
We're not going to do all of this, but enough of it,
yeah.
But it'll be enough. And then, of course, like I said, just, you know, it's a chili oil, basically.
Yeah.
And it just has a good crunch. And so, let's get started. Okay. Anyways, the chile árbol, we're not even going to do anything to it.
Okay.
These are very spicy, so I'm going to be cognizant of the ratio of chile árbol that I'm putting to the rest of it.
Okay.
At the same time, I'm not gonna lie, some of these, 90% of the time, these chile mijas are very spicy themselves.
Oh, okay.
You know, these chile mije, super awesome. Don't throw away the seeds. What I did, real simple, I'm gonna show you, it's a little easier to show you with the chile guajillo. With your scissors, take off the top, stick your scissors in there, and open it up.
Okay.
And kind of twist your scissors around to loosen up the seeds.
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
And
you can throw these in your garden. I have them growing all year. Or you could just keep them, and the next time you do some veggies or a
just
big
toss
chicken.
them in there for flavor?
Yeah, use this instead of pepper the next time that you're doing
that's
something.
a great idea.
Yeah, you don't have to throw them away. Try to keep as much of the tops.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Exactly. So there's uses for all of it. And as a matter of fact, if you don't want to take out the seeds, don't.
Okay.
No. In Mexico, you know, you never take the seeds out of the serrano, because the reason behind that is it's just that they're small seeds, and so they're easy to eat.
Right.
And of course, it adds to that heat level. So, but anyways, we got our chiles, and we're gonna cut them into little strips like this.
And how smart is it that you're using scissors versus knives? Because it makes it so much easier, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, look, this is the only knife we're gonna use today, and this is the only other cutting tool, I think. And honestly, if you want to go ahead and do this with your hands, do it with your hands.
That's great.
Like, you have to be confident when you're in your own kitchen doing your own stuff, and that's what's gonna like help you take on that essence of
So good.
So if you want to help me with some of these, just rip them open. It's all gonna get blended, so it doesn't matter if it's a perfect cut or you know. Take out that little seed pod in there.
Wow. Yeah, it just smells. It smells like chipotle. It smells really lovely.
Right. Well, a chipotle is going to be a smoked jalapeno. Speaking of smells, I want to make sure you guys are keeping track of your garlic. I pulled mine off to the side because it was looking really good. And I left it in the oil, but once we go back and get the oil hot again, I'm going to check the garlic out.
Okay.
So be cognizant of that, and don't forget about your onions. Yeah, lots of stuff happening.
I have a tendency of burning mine. So thanks for the reminder.
They're on low, so they'll be okay for a while.
So, like, can you buy these and, like, do this yourself, like, as far as, like, smoking them?
Yeah, so I get these chiles from our friends in Houston at Agropa.
Okay.
Agropa LLC. And, you know, give Jose a call, and this is, like, where I can get them. But honestly, yeah, the chile pasilla mija is very hard to find.
Oh, okay.
That's why I wanted to make sure that we had other chiles that you could get. Now you could just find the chile pasilla at your local Mexican specialty grocery store, a chile ancho, and of course the guajillos, or you could just do just chile árbol. It'll be nice and spicy, true to the name, salsa matcha, because it's a brave salsa. But you know, find the chiles that work for you. And if you're ever curious about a chile, like, just make a salsa out of it. Like, reconstitute it and blitz it up and make a salsa and taste it and see, okay, well, this chile likes a lot of lime, or maybe this one specifically likes apple cider vinegar.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it needs a lot of roasted garlic, or maybe it wants raw garlic. So, you know, get to know them. Yeah, exactly. And there's so many different ways to do this. Okay, so these are looking pretty good. Let's get these to the pan. Just put it here so you can carry them.
Made a little bit of a mess, but this is all going to go in the blender anyways, right? So
this,
in the ground.
This will go just into the yard for me. I already have jars of this stuff. So.
Oh wow.
So I'll just throw it out in the garden. All right, let's go to the stove.
Okay, great. Let's do it. Look how golden those garlics are.
Yeah, they're perfect, Miriam. So we don't want them to get any darker. You know, they're really soft already.
Okay.
So, you know, just pull them out of the oil.
Okay.
Oil's warming up again. I had taken them off for a little while. and we'll set these aside for later. Check the heat. I have about medium heat right here.
Okay.
Get your chiles in there. Now it's super important that you're not looking for charred bits of chile.
Okay.
Because then it's gonna get really bitter.
Sure.
And there's ways to balance that out, but it's better if you get it right from the get. And so, you keep your oil at a medium temp because you're putting this in there. It's gonna cool down a little bit, and now you're kind of watching it. You don't want it dancing around too much. When the bubbles are really popping and it's really loud,
right.
then it might be a little hot.
And this is just a way of like rehydrating it a little bit, or?
Yeah, it's gonna rehydrate. It's going to toast it.
Yeah.
It's gonna accentuate the natural flavors that it has already.
Yeah.
It's gonna flavor the oil because now the natural oils of the chiles are coming out. And these are just, look, it's already like pretty amazing the way it smells. So those are going, and because I'm not gonna go too heavy on roasting these chiles, I'm gonna go ahead and add the nuts now.
Okay, great.
All right, so we have the pecans now. Again, that's another ingredient that you definitely don't want to burn, or to get too toasty, because then you start developing bitter flavors, and we're looking to pull out all the sweet flavors just in time before we cut the heat.
And you don't have to chop them up because they're gonna go in the blender anyway.
Exactly. I want you guys to do the least amount of work you have to do.
Yeah.
Check your onions, and you see the brown kind of getting pulled out. Liquid is getting pulled out of there. I haven't added any salt yet, and they're just kind of going. They're just hanging out in there, getting really sweet. That smells good.
It smells really good.
It smells really good. It's gonna cook for a while.
I can't wait to have these tacos.
I know. And of course, you have the salsa matcha in your kit, so you already have a flavor profile to base this on.
Okay.
Even if you can't find the smoky chiles, the chile pasilla, go with the chipotle. It's also smoky.
Okay.
And salsa matcha is supposed to be spicy.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid of that. It's okay. If you feel like it's just too spicy, you can add more nuts.
Oh, okay.
I've seen my friend,
cool
my friend Rick Lopez over at La Condesa, he likes to add tomatoes to it.
Oh, that's a good
And his salsa matcha is really good.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, there's a basis to this recipe, yes.
Right.
And there's a line that at some point you just shouldn't cross, because it's just disrespecting that. But somewhere in the middle, make it your own.
Okay.
Add your own chiles to it, add your own flavors to it. But you got your dry chiles, they're cooking away. I'm actually gonna turn it down a lot, and I'm gonna turn it off here in about 30 seconds and let it finish cooking in the pan by itself.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's very hot, so we're just gonna let it hang out until we're ready to put it into the blender.
Okay, great.
We definitely want to put hot oil in there. But once we put it in the blender, we're gonna add more oil, and then we're gonna add a little bit of salt. We're gonna add a pinch of sugar. The sugar is because specifically for this chile. So if you're not using the chile pasilla, Mike, don't worry about the sugar. But the point is that the chile pasilla already has a beautiful raisiny flavor to it.
Oh, okay.
And so just by adding that little pinch of sugar, brown sugar, piloncillo, and unrefined sugar, what you're doing is you're bringing that flavor out.
Oh, you're enhancing.
So we're not trying to sweeten up a salsa. We just want to bring that flavor out.
Oh,
Same thing like with coconut. You might add a little sugar in your coconut to make it to really taste that coconut flavor. You see the smoke is already. You definitely want to smoking. Just little wisps of steam and the oil evaporating, but it's there. Some of these are getting a little. Yeah, it's there.
Oh, it's really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so your salsa matcha, it doesn't have to be made the day of. It doesn't have to be made right before your taco. As a matter of fact, you can make this up to a month in advance if you want to.
So if you made like a month in advance, the flavors would just like continue to like macerate. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, I guess I would keep it in the fridge. But if you're hanging out just for a week, it'll be okay on the counter for a week. It's just sitting in oil. But yeah, you can make this way in advance. It's beautiful in so many things, Miriam. I'm gonna take this off because I still have residual heat on the bottom, and I'm just gonna move it aside. That way it starts to cool down a little bit faster, because, check this out, Miriam, you see that the chiles, they've blistered.
Okay.
You see that some of these are getting darker because that's, they're getting nice and toasty.
Yeah.
They're brittle. That's a good sign as well. Definitely not too brittle. And then you have this pecan that kind of went over, so that's a good indicator that it's a little bit dark.
Okay.
But we can still use it. But definitely, you want to keep them on that lighter golden tone.
Yeah.
And check out your oil.
Oh, wow.
So it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be great. All right, Miriam. So the salsa matcha is cooling down.
Okay.
The onions, honestly, look at these onions. Nice and caramelized. It smells super sweet already. I'm just gonna turn it off now.
Okay.
Because they're gonna sit in there in that heat, and they're gonna cook it for a little bit longer. and they're good to go. I mean, obviously, if you want to cook them down a little bit longer, go for it. That's kind of the way I like it. Yeah. We'll add salt before we mix everything. Okay. So turn that off, let that hang out. You can cover it. The steam will help soften everything. And on to the next thing. Let's make a cocktail.
All right, let's do it. I'm ready. Chef, I'm really excited about this cocktail. So how do you make it?
All right, so this is an Oja Santa cocktail with mezcal. We're gonna start off with the Oja Santa simple syrup. Of course, this is a beautiful heart-shaped leaf. It grows more like, you know, in the jungly areas of Mexico, but around South Texas, I've seen it growing in a lot of houses.
Well, I saw it in your front yard.
Yeah,
it's
I
beautiful.
keep it for everything. I'll put this in my beans, you know, cocktails, wood wrap fish in it, and it's so beautiful. Like the way it smells, like mint. Here, smell that. It smells like mint and anise at the same time.
It smells beautiful.
And so we make the simple syrup out of that.
Okay.
Lime juice, mezcal, of course, an agave distillation, and super important to Mexico. Then finish it off with some sparkling water.
Oh, okay, great. So why this particular mezcal?
Well, Rey Campero is one of my favorites. De Espadín, because I think it's one of the best ones to start off with for a cocktail if you're not gonna just be drinking straight pours.
It's very refreshing. It's got grapefruit notes in it.
Yeah.
You know, actually, I know someone that knows a little bit more about mezcal. Maybe we should have them talk about it a little bit.
Hey, Miriam, Rico, thank you so much for including me in all this. I'm William Scanlon. I've got a very small mezcal import company called Heavy Metal Premium Imports. Work with a bunch of wonderful family-owned mezcal brands owned by the people that actually produce them. You know, we're going to talk about Rey Campero, Espadín today. Which you guys have chosen to use for your cocktail. It's one of my favorite sipping mezcals. This Espadín, made by Romulo Sanchez, is an agave that takes about 8 years to mature. But it's crisp, it's bright, it's citrusy, kind of herbal, grassy. And you know, when Rico was telling me about the cocktail that he was going to make, which is kind of a riff on a mojito using Oja Santa, which is this giant, beautiful leaf that I think y'all have already seen. You know, that's got these notes of kind of anise. You know, I've tasted the cocktail. It's wonderful. This Espadín plays well with that. It's also a phenomenal sipper, and actually is very diverse and can be used in all sorts of different cocktails. You know, Rey Campero also, you know, it's a family-owned brand. Romulo Sanchez is making this and about 8 other varietals, right? Rey Campero means king of the countryside. The reason they called it that is because that area is abundant with wild agave. So if you're looking for something different, they've got a lot of really cool things. The jabalí, tepestate, mexicano, those aren't going to be really used for making cocktails unless you want to be extravagant. As you taste through, it's very, very clear that it was made by one person. So, Miriam, Rico, thank you so much for letting me be a part of this. Back to you guys and back to that amazing cocktail.
Thank you, William. Of course, incredible wealth of knowledge. So let's get into this cocktail.
All right, so let's start off with the mezcal.
Okay, great.
Okay, I was ready to pour us a
I know. Maybe later. Maybe later. So easy.
I did about 3 seconds.
Okay. So it's about, what, 2 ounces or so?
Yeah, well, about 3 ounces.
Okay, great.
I'm eyeballing it.
All right, I mean, you're making it just like, I'm here. Yeah.
I mean, if it's too strong, we'll add a little more sparkling water, but
perfect.
It's not gonna be too strong. It's gonna be great.
Good. It'll be
It's
just
gonna be real
right,
good. Okay, and then we'll add the simple syrup.
Okay.
So if you're having to make this at home, and you have the option, and you actually have some Oja Santa that you can get, or you might have to use some mint, or maybe you have a jalapeno, you do the same thing. But for this one, we blanched it. So cook it in hot water for about 10-20 seconds.
Okay.
Immediately into an ice bath.
Sure.
Okay, that's gonna help it keep a nice green color. And then your simple syrup, you know, traditional manner, you just cook it down, or in many cases you just do it in your blender until it's completely dissolved.
Sure.
Then you would add that Oja Santa that's been blanched into your simple syrup, blend it, and strain it.
Oh, that's great. Easy.
Yeah, and then taste it. I mean, maybe you need more simple syrup because it's not sweet enough.
Okay.
So taste it. Always taste your ingredients. That way you know what you're working with.
Yeah, everyone has certain preferences on how they want to do it. Yeah,
exactly.
I get that.
Exactly. So I'm gonna pour it all in there.
Great.
I'm gonna try to get 4 cocktails out of this.
Okay.
and all this lime juice.
Perfect.
So just to recap, we did about 3 ounces of mezcal,
Okay.
2 ounces or so of the simple syrup.
Okay.
Same with the lime juice, another
Okay.
2 ounces.
Great.
I'm smelling it because I want to make sure that it's balanced. If it, you know, maybe it doesn't have enough alcohol in it,
Sure.
and maybe you want a little more of that punch. I do,
Yeah.
but
Let's do it.
you might not.
Yeah,
There
I
we
mean-
go. That's how we do it in El Paso.
I can roll.
Okay. Then we're gonna cover it up and give it a shake.
Okay, great.
Let's make sure. And I'm using a mason jar because I just don't have a shaker.
Well, yeah, not everyone has shakers at home.
Yeah.
So that's a great way to use them. I have tons of mason jars at home, so that's
Exactly.
smart.
So it's good to reuse. Okay. Nice and foamy. All the flavors are in there.
Great.
Pour this in here.
It smells really good.
Awesome. I think we're gonna have enough for another cocktail later.
Or we could just do mezcal too.
Yeah. Keep that in the fridge until you're ready to use it again.
Great.
Finish it off with some sparkling water, and this is like a splash.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to dilute it too much, but you do want that effervescence that it provides.
Yeah, I
It's
like
awesome.
the bubbles, yeah. for sure.
And then we're just gonna garnish it with some mint. You know, these glasses are a little tall, but they're awesome.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yeah, and that way the it hits you on the nose.
Sure.
You get those flavors. It's gonna be great. I haven't had straws in a while.
Oh my
so.
gosh. Yeah, same.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, William.
Oh yeah, that's delicious. That's great. Thank you so much, Chef. So what's next?
Let's get started on the avocado.
Okay, great. Perfect. All right, Chef, so you're gonna show us how to make smashed avocado, which also can be called guacamole.
Yeah, I mean it's interchangeable. Mole means to mash.
Sure.
Aguacate, the guac from guacamole comes from aguacate. So
Yeah.
you know, and it could be as simple as avocado and salt.
Oh,
Or it
perfect,
could be
okay.
very elaborate and
Yeah.
have all kinds of ingredients like
Yeah, that's what I'm used
pepitas
to,
and,
yeah.
and chiles and onions
Okay.
and tomatoes.
Awesome.
But okay, let's start with your aguacate.
Okay.
Just a quick note on these when you're picking them out. A lot of people want to squeeze them and make sure that
Sure.
they're, and that's okay. You can give them like a very gentle squeeze to make sure there's no soft spots, right?
Sure.
But a really cool thing is the seed right here.
Yeah.
What I like to do is pick it off.
Yeah.
And then the color will tell me how green the avocado is. in
Okay,
this.
so
Yeah.
like what's a good telltale sign as far as the color? Like what
Well,
color do you look
that
for?
green that you're looking for,
Yeah.
like green like a lime.
Oh, okay,
almost,
great.
you
So
know,
then you'll know it's perfect.
Nice and
Okay.
bright, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Because sometimes the color of the outside of the skin isn't indicative of what's happening on the inside.
Oh, okay. Well,
But this is kind of like you get in a peek inside the avocado.
oh, okay, great.
So, okay. So what we've done is we've cut it around the edges like this. This was already cut, but I want to show you anyway. So you
Yeah.
get the knife in there,
Yeah.
starting with the fat part, and just kind of work it all the way around the seed,
okay.
right? Once that happens, you're pulling it off.
Okay.
You have your seed, again with the fat part of the knife, just throw it in there.
Yeah, that's
Like
how
that?
I learned how to do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
It's there,
Makes it super easy.
and then do it like that. So we'll take that out.
Okay, great.
Okay, use a spoon. You're gonna need a knife, spoon, and fork for this one.
Okay.
So take that out. And again, the meat, just work your way all the way around.
Yeah, you got like most of it. That's impressive.
Mash this up a little bit.
Okay. So do you want it like chunky or smooth?
I like it chunky.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I like it, where you can have a little bit of a bite of the avocado. Smash that up. It's got that pretty color.
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay, let's get some lime on there now. And then there's this myth that you put the seed into the guacamole and it's gonna save
Yeah.
it. That's not true.
Oh.
What you need is for it not to have air.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Oh, so then you just use the padding the plastic, or
Yeah. So if you're gonna make this
I've
ahead of
heard that
time, get some plastic wrap
Okay.
and press it down so that
Okay.
there's no air between the avocado surface and the outside.
That's a game changer
Okay,
for me
yeah.
right now. Yeah.
So that's happening.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna take out this garlic. I had it roasting for about 15 minutes just to get it soft, nice and squishy, and definitely get a little sweeter. The serrano too, roasted, already peeled in this case. I'm not taking out the seeds. So let's go to the avocado. I like to add roasted garlic and roasted peppers to this. So
Okay.
basically roasted serrano.
Perfect.
Just gonna run my knife through it, leaving the seeds in it. Again, it's
with
almost
that heat.
sacrilegious
Yeah.
to take the seeds out of a serrano pepper. So we're gonna leave it in there.
I love it.
Peel off your garlic. At this point, it should be as simple as just like,
Yeah, because you've roasted it for a good amount of time.
right.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's gonna fall right out. I think we'll start with 2.
Okay. I mean,
Of
I
course, you
love
can go-
garlic, so you can go all
3?
in.
Let's
if
do
you-
3, yeah.
Let's
Let's do that.
Let's get crazy. Let's do it.
Let's do that. Run my knife through this one as well. Right. And then I'm gonna put salt on this.
Oh, okay.
Right? And mash it up together to make like a paste, so you don't have these big chunks in there.
Oh, okay. I've never seen it done that way. That's cool. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with the garlic, it works really well, and then the salt works it really helps it out.
Oh yeah. And that way you get more distribution of it throughout that's smart.
If you want to add cilantro to this, at this point you can.
Okay.
You wouldn't do this to the cilantro.
No.
But just, you know, chop it up or pick it. That's good.
Oh, great. This is so simple.
Yeah. Mix it up. Okay.
Okay.
Let's taste it.
All right.
This for you.
Yep.
This for me.
Okay. So cool.
What does it need? Does it need more salt? Does it need more lime? Does it need more chile?
I mean, personally, I love it. I think it's just the right amount of heat. You can definitely taste the citrus. You can definitely taste the garlic. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I'm gonna go for a little more lime.
A little bit more citrus? Okay.
A little more citrus for me. I think it's there.
I feel like it's gonna balance with everything that we put on it. Yeah. Yeah, it's delicious.
Okay. So this is good to go until we're ready to use it.
Okay.
I'm gonna cover this up in plastic.
Okay. So you're gonna show us how the pro tip? Okay.
So basically what you want is to get the air out of there.
Okay.
So you don't want to, I have this piece of plastic, and if you don't have, you know, plastic wrap at your house, a little piece of wax paper or parchment paper will work just as well.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend aluminum foil because of the reaction, right?
Sure.
Just kind of tap it down so that the plastic touches the surface of the avocado.
Air. Yeah, that's great.
And this will keep it green most of the day.
Okay.
But you know, avocado is not a thing that you make in advance for 2
No,
days.
you
make it and eat it.
But...
Make it and eat it.
Yeah.
And then we'll put it in the fridge.
Okay, great. So chef, time for the salsa matcha, right?
Time for the salsa matcha, correct.
Yeah,
so,
love it.
This is cooled down enough.
Okay.
Okay, so looking at this, I think we're gonna do it in 2 batches.
Okay.
Just because it's kind of a lot of chiles. So, you know.
Like 1 batch for you, 1 batch for me.
Sure, yeah. So gently get this stuff in here.
Okay.
Jump all over the place. That's gonna happen.
Yeah. Smell like the roasted pecan smell. It's so prominent. Yeah.
So let's just do half for now. Okay. What's in here? So we have the chiles and the pecans and the first bit of oil.
Okay. Oh, the garlic's
Right.
back. Okay.
The garlic's back. So we get that in there.
Okay.
At this point, I'm gonna add my salt. I know that this amount is gonna take about. This is gonna sound crazy, but it takes about this much salt.
Okay. So just like a little, like a large pinchful.
Yeah.
Okay.
The sugar.
It's about tablespoon, teaspoon.
Yeah, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to use all of this.
Right. Exactly.
I don't,
And this is just to sweeten which pepper was it again that you're sweetening?
The pasilla mije.
That's me. Okay. Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. All right.
That's it.
That's great.
And again, if you don't want to use refined sugar, I normally don't like it either, but you can use a piloncillo or you can use a brown sugar.
Great.
That'll work just as well. I wouldn't go with like an agave nectar.
I was gonna ask. Okay.
I really wouldn't use honey either, but you could.
Okay.
Okay.
I would more likely do the brown sugar anyways.
So we got all these guys in here.
Great.
A little acid.
Okay.
Always apple cider with the mother.
Love it. And then how much of this? Like about
I am going to go about 3 ounces.
3 ounces, right?
Yeah.
Great.
About 3 ounces, but we're gonna taste it later because it might need more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
As you can see, it's on the bottom. And then the oil. The oil, we're gonna fill it up more than halfway.
Okay.
From the bottle of that, whatever bottle you're using. Because again, this is a chili oil salsa.
Okay. So you want a little bit of that oiliness too.
Yes.
Yeah. So why apple cider instead of like just lime juice?
The apple cider vinegar has a different kind of pungency to it.
Okay.
That's what I like. It also has that sweetness, that lime. Lime does
apple?
have a sweet,
Okay.
but
yeah.
this has a little, that appleness works with the chiles and the nuts.
Okay.
It really bounces off the nuts really nicely. Of course, you don't have to use it. Like I said, there's so many different traditional ways to do it.
I just like, I'm learning. So it's
Of
great.
course, maybe a distilled vinegar would work if you don't have apple cider.
Okay.
Even a white vinegar.
Okay.
But I wouldn't go like a balsamic vinegar.
No.
So,
Stretch.
but yeah, apple cider vinegar. I mean, at this point in time, you should have apple cider in your pantry. Anyways,
I mean, I
it's
feel
so
like
good
it's
for
in
you.
everything these days,
Yeah.
yeah. So good for you.
Okay, let's get this going, and if it may need a little bit more oil. So, don't be afraid of how loud these Vitamixes are. If you don't have Vitamix, you know, use your
Regular
blender.
food
Yeah.
processor,
Yeah. What I like about this blender is that it gets everything very smooth,
Yeah.
but this isn't a very smooth salsa at all.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, once we make it after a few minutes of sitting, the heavier bits are going to fall to the bottom.
Okay.
And that's why we're adding more oil, because you can always just use the oil on something,
Oh, nice.
or you can mix it up and get all the components together again. So, right here, let's
All
get
these.
loud. I think that's good.
So like you saw it, like the chunky bits, they like you could see them floating around in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and because you don't want them too big either, then they're get a little tough to chew.
Sure.
So you just want to, but that's a good indicator of where you're at with the salsa. And we taste.
Thank you, chef. So what am I tasting for?
Again, you're tasting for seasoning and acidity and oil. Yep,
Yeah, it's really good.
that's gonna work.
Yeah.
We'll move that over to a bowl,
Okay.
and then I think we're ready for a steak.
Oh my gosh, I'm ready for these tacos.
Okay, let's do it.
So,
Okay, so the reason we're outside though is because I don't have a great ventilation in my kitchen.
sure.
And it's gonna get super hot. I
Okay.
want the pan has to be screaming hot, and you know it gets all that oil up in the
Yeah,
air.
and
So
smoke and yeah.
let's do it outside instead.
Okay,
But
great.
let's get started. We're gonna start off with our 16-ounce cut from Peeler Ranch, right outside of San Antonio. Grass-fed beef. It's it's just great quality. Got good marbling. One of the things that I look for when I'm picking up a ribeye is that it has this fat lip on the outside,
Sure.
because that's gonna be really tender part of your steak.
Keeps
So
all the flavor in
yeah,
too, yeah?
when you're out there
Yeah.
shopping for one, kind of keep an eye out for that.
Okay.
And that's a really good part of it. So one of the things that I like to do, again, because of the splatter, is I don't like to put the oil in the pan.
Oh.
I like to
smart,
put the
yeah.
oil on the steak.
Yeah.
So put the oil on the steak, and get that.
It's a good amount of oil too. I like it.
Yes. I got one hand for my steak, one hand for my oil.
I love the fact that you guys use as much like local farms and ranchers here in Texas.
Yes.
It's pretty rad.
Yeah. And the olive oil too from Conolio in Austin.
Yeah.
I'm going a little heavy on the salt, but again, it's a heavy piece of meat. You got to compensate for the meat inside the steak.
And you salt it to really bring out that flavor.
Right.
Bring out the juices.
And salting because it's a thicker cut of meat. So kind of want to make sure that you have enough seasoning for the whole piece of meat.
Perfect. Yeah.
All right, so this should be nice and hot. Let's test it.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, yep.
Okay, so that's gonna sizzle away.
Okay. So 5 minutes on this side.
Yeah, for a cut like this, we're gonna do about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Don't touch it.
Okay.
Don't move it.
Yeah.
When you do move it, it's just gonna be to flip it one time.
Don't press it. Don't touch it. Yeah.
Don't touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't press it. Don't cover it,
Yeah.
because then it's gonna start steaming, and that's a different thing.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah.
really want that brown bits to start working on the bottom side. That's where all the flavors at. All the proteins are coming up. The sugars are caramelizing.
Okay. Great.
And then once we flip it, it's gonna look pretty great. Keep the temperature nice and hot, and let it roll. Again, cast iron is preferred.
Okay.
And if you don't want to do it, if you're outside and you already have the grill going, do it on
Yeah.
the grill too. Same
Yeah.
thing.
We can put the cast iron on the grill too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Smells so good. I can't wait to have these tacos.
Okay. Now I told you not to move it around, but I mean you can peel the back a little bit just to see what's going on the bottom.
Okay.
As you can see, it's pretty caramelized. So I'm gonna give it a few more, probably another 30 seconds, and then we're gonna flip it.
Okay. Great.
You see how it's kind of bubbled up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
You can see the crust on the edge of
Okay.
the steak already.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's looking good.
Yeah. Oh, it smells good. Oh, there you go. Oh yeah. So you can really see.
See, and when you're cooking these,
Yeah.
you're doing these at home, nobody really knows if you ate this piece by yourself and
Yeah.
didn't share it.
And that's okay.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
little tail. And,
That's your safe
You're right,
space.
yeah, that's-
You're in a safe space. Yeah.
if anybody catches you, you're like, oh, just testing it out.
Yeah.
So we did about 5 minutes on the first side,
Okay.
about 3 minutes on this side,
Okay.
maybe a little bit less. We're gonna touch it to see where it's at,
Okay.
because that's how you know if it's gonna be, where your temperature is.
Sure.
If it feels like it does right here on your hand,
Yeah.
right in the middle part, where that meaty part, it's about
Sure.
that medium that you're looking for. Medium rare, medium.
Okay.
almost want to take it off now.
Wow.
Almost.
Do it.
It's so close. Make sure it's brown on the bottom.
Okay.
Looking good. I'm doing this. Make sure we get the steak is kind of uneven.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna get some of this oil cooking
Oh, okay.
on the end parts. But it's there. Yeah, Miriam, I think it's there.
Oh my gosh, it looks good.
The way it carries is gonna carry over.
Yeah.
So it's there. So let's take this back inside.
Okay.
Get it on a plate to rest.
All right.
And start working on tortillas, and then we'll be ready to plate. So the steak is looking great. Gonna get this off of the hot pan. Get it onto a plate and let it rest. I'm not gonna wrap it in foil or wrap it in anything. I'm gonna use this piece of parchment paper to just kind of tent it. Just like that. Okay, now we're ready for our corn tortillas.
I'm ready.
We have some heirloom corn tortillas, non-GMO. I mean, it's really the only way to eat corn tortillas. If you buy these at the store, a lot of times they're gonna have a ton of preservatives in them, which
Right.
means that they can last forever, but I mean, they're not the same thing.
It's not the same.
Right, a good corn tortilla should have 3 ingredients: corn, water, and cal, which
Okay.
is the alkali solution that cooks the corn to make it into masa, to make it into tortilla.
Sure.
These are a little bit dry, so we're just gonna kind of,
Dip in the water?
yeah, dip them in a little bit of
Rehydrate
water.
them.
Yeah, exactly. And then into your pan.
Okay.
Let them cook a little bit. And then from here, we're gonna put them into a linen, which I have over here.
Perfect.
I'm gonna pass it over to you if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
Here, you
I'll
can
be your
even-
Sue any
You
day.
can use my
love it.
tweezers.
Yeah.
And they're cooking quick now because
Sure.
you know the tortillas are already pre-made.
And you have the pan really hot too before you.
Yeah, I have it at medium here right now. Yeah, so just like a good butcher, you want to have a good tortillero in your town. You know, get to know them.
Yeah.
Here in San Antonio, I go to Sanitary a lot, and I've made a pretty good relationship with Luis over there. You know, we're always talking about where the corn comes from and it's different styles. And you know, the thing is, you could learn to make tortillas at home, and maybe even you should buy the corn, buy the molino,
Sure.
do the whole nixtamalization process.
Yeah.
But when you need a bunch of tortillas in bulk, you know, having somebody that does it right all the time and is waking up around 2 o'clock in the morning wondering if the corn is overcooked by 20 minutes,
Oh my gosh.
let them do their thing because they
Sure.
understand their machine.
Yeah.
For them, it's a daily thing. And I mean, these are beautiful.
They
Our
look
friend, our
amazing.
friends at Comedor made these ones.
Oh, they look amazing.
So I'm gonna pass these
Thank
on
you
over
so
to
much,
you. Now, alternatively, you could add a little bit of oil to the pan and cook them that way too.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because like when I heat up my tortillas, I do that with oil, a little bit of oil.
But I prefer not to. Anytime that we can avoid frying anything,
Yeah.
I like to cook that way. So like even when we're making moles at the restaurant, it's not gonna be, I try not to fry too many of the ingredients.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, this water trick is so handy because that's pretty much part of the reason why I did the oil is to kind of like add a little bit of moisture to it. So
Yeah. And see, they got a little too dry and they cracked.
yeah.
But that doesn't mean we can't eat them.
No, no.
All right, we'll finish these off and then we'll get into the tacos.
Sounds good.
That's it.
All right, now we're ready for the main event.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this steak up. Miriam, if you want to get some tortillas on here.
Okay, great.
And then we'll build them together.
It's just like 2.
Yeah, so the steak hung out for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Let's see. Yep, check it out.
Oh my gosh,
Just,
looks perfect.
Just shy of medium.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And so I'm gonna take this piece that I was talking about earlier, that lip.
Oh yeah, there you go. It's like double fats. Be so good. So like if I was to use other cuts of meat, like whatever, if I didn't have a ribeye, like what are some other cuts that would work
well, I
really
mean, a sirloin would go pretty well. You definitely want to get a medium rare so that it stays juicy. New York
Sure.
strip works well.
Okay.
Even a fillet, like a tenderloin.
Yeah.
Or chicken, of course.
Or like
Turkey's
pork,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Veggies. You want to maybe some
Yeah.
cauliflower.
Sure.
Cauliflower is always awesome. Hearty mushrooms. Maybe some broccoli rub is one of my favorite. Get it nice and charred. Get that broccoli rub
so
nice and
good,
charred.
yeah.
Or Swiss chard, known as acelgas in
yeah.
Mexico. So you would cook those down with tomatoes and chiles and it'd just be okay.
That'll be for next time for
Can
sure.
I get a spoonful of avocado
Okay.
in each one?
Okay.
Nice.
Oh my gosh,
Okay.
I like mine like a little. Like I like a lot. So.
Yeah.
Go crazy.
Some of the caramelized onions, they come out really nice.
Oh my gosh, this looks beautiful. So 20 minutes, yeah? 20 minutes,
Yeah,
a little
about
bit
20
of butter?
minutes.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
And gently. And then the salsa matcha. So you see how like it starts to settle on the bottom.
Yeah,
so
so
if
you
you
can
want
mix
to
it up a little bit.
mix it up a little bit,
It's so smooth.
and then kind of get that.
Yeah, there we go.
everything.
Love that.
I have a little finishing salt.
Okay.
Will you give us a squeeze of lime, please?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I'm ready.
Yes. And
Oh
then,
my gosh. Thank you so much, Chef.
No, thank you.
Oh my gosh. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having us in your room today.
Thank you, guys.
So pumped. Oh my God. That is incredible. So, you know what I think would be a good finish to this? Let's do a little toast from Mezcal for our friend William.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Oh my
Look at
gosh.
us here.
What a great day.
Thanks so much for being here.
Oh my gosh. It's so
We'll
wonderful to
start
be
that
in your home, and this has been amazing. Thank you so much, Chef.
Salud.
Cheers. Salud.
Salud, guys.
Salud, William.
Rico, Marion, thank you for having me. It's been amazing. Salud.
Chef, thank you so much for having us in our home. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to our partners, Assembly Kitchen, and thank you to our sponsors, Canolio and to Rey Campero. Make yourself another one of those delicious cocktails and join us for the Q&A that will happen in just a few minutes. Chef will answer all of your questions and provide some more great pro tips.